Hi, my name is Nicole Johnson, and welcome to my channel, Renursing EDU, where we help nurses make moves in their professional careers, whether that's going back to school to become an NP or going on the other side and starting their own business. So in today's video, I'm actually going to talk to you about something that happened way back when within my first year of nursing and how it shaped me in my career, my nursing career, and as an entrepreneur. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, you got the title. I quit nursing to work at Target. And maybe if you know me personally, you know this story, but a lot of people don't know the story. And I wanted to share it with you guys just to give you a little bit of perspective of how that one incident in my life changed my entire career. So I've been a nurse for 21 years, and in my first year, I was an LPN and I worked in an LTAC unit. I was super proud that I had gotten my job. It was my first hospital type job because before then I worked in pediatric home health and I really wanted that true clinical experience of working in a hospital. And I worked at a small LTAC in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I actually still am in contact with a lot of people that I work with way back when. But I worked in this LTAC. I was still a brand new baby LPN. And I was just overwhelmed. It was very stressful for me. And thinking back, I think the first year of nursing is stressful for all nurses simply because it is a complete shift from being in school all that time. And then now you're out on your own and you are the one that is responsible for taking care of patients, making sure that they're taken care of, making sure that you're giving the medications, staying on track, doing your time management, everything that goes into being a nurse at the bedside. So it is very overwhelming. So I was working at an LTAC and it was really slow during, I believe, the Christmas holiday. It was getting a little slower. And I ended up, basically quitting my job at the LTAC and I went and I applied at Target. And I got the job at Target. I started out as the cashier and then I actually got upgraded and went over to the customer service side. So I actually loved my job at Target. And I felt when I was working at Target that I was free, meaning I could have fun. I was still very young, of course, but I could have fun in the sense that this job was not life or death. I did not have to worry about keeping someone alive for my 12-hour shift. I did not have to work a 12-hour shift because I was working at Target. I could go pee. I could go take a break and go eat. It was very different. And me being a nurse my first year, maybe I just didn't know any better. And I thought, I don't know. Well, we'll get into that in a second. But let me just tell you, I was working at Target. I was having the time of my life. And then one of my coworkers from the LTAC happened to come through my line that day. He came through my line and he looked at me and he said, "What the hell are you doing?" I remember it so vividly. And I remember his name, Mark Contreras. You came through my line and you told me to basically go back to work. And I did. So Mark came through my line and, basically asked me what the hell I was doing. And I was like, I'm working. I'm working. This is my job. So long story short, I ended up going back to work at the LTAC and I continued in a traditional bedside or clinical manner up until 2020. But I will say that during this time of being a nurse, there have been many times multiple times. I wanted to quit, leave, and go work somewhere else, work for Target, go work for myself, go do something. And I thought, as a first year nurse, as an LPN, brand spanking new, that these were normal feelings because I was brand new. And maybe, yes, they are for a brand new nurse. But to continue on for the next 19 years before I finally decided to be full time in my business, it was something that I had to reflect on. And I realized, bless Mark, because it was great that I actually went back because I had a lot more experience that I can give nurses now as a nurse entrepreneur. But I had reflection that I left my first job because deep down in my gut, I knew this was not what I wanted. And I had those feelings for many, many years. Like I said, at different jobs, jobs that were easier, that were more difficult. It didn't matter what job I had. I've worked a lot of jobs as a nurse on all levels. Like I said, I was an LPN first, became an RN, became a nurse practitioner. So, and all three of those educational levels, I've had jobs that I loved, had jobs that I absolutely hated. But after a while, even the jobs that I loved, I knew deep down that this was not what I wanted to do. And it was the entire nursing profession. So I don't want to get into everything because the list is super long, but a lot of it was that I felt like I didn't have any control. Nurses don't have any control. We work 12-hour shifts if you're working in the hospital. Even as a nurse practitioner, I thought my hours would get better, but I was held hostage because they want to pay you salary. And if a patient walks in at 4:59 and your clinic closes at 5, they were so in tune with that money that they were going to get that you couldn't turn a patient away a minute before 5 o'clock. And if that patient had a long workup, you're staying there all night. There were some times I would go into work at 8 o'clock thinking I was going to get off at 5, but I don't get home and get off until 7, 8, 9 o'clock because late patients, or we were just so slammed. So that's one of the things. Like, I had no control, and it's very physically demanding. It's very physically demanding. So even if you're not in a position where you have to lift patients and walk them and put them in chairs and things like that, it's very physically demanding because more than likely you're running nonstop. You don't have time for a break. Even as a nurse practitioner in the field that I was in, I didn't have time for a break a lot of times. I worked urgent care / occupational medicine. And on top of that, I floated around to about 16 different clinics within the Houston area, which is very, very big. So I had a lot of drive time on top of being worked to death at whatever clinic I was working at for the day. So it didn't seem to get better regardless of how much education I had and regardless of what type of job I had. Another thing is that I felt like I was missing out a lot on life. Because before my daughter was born, I really didn't have that much of a social life because my schedule was always changing. Or like I said, if a patient came in at the last minute and I'm expecting to get off at 5 and go to a dinner with a friend at 6, but I have to stay, there goes your social life. There goes the dinner that you planned with your friend. So there are a lot of reasons. And bringing it all back to this whole leaving and working at Target is the simple fact that I want to let you know, if you are a nurse and you are thinking that this profession just isn't for you, that nursing doesn't serve you anymore, that it's not all that it was cracked up to be, and you have more bad days than good, I'm giving you permission to leave and do something different. And I know it's super scary. I know a lot of people, nursing is the only thing that they've only known. And I'll tell you, I'm one of them because I have been in the nursing field since after high school, because I actually started out as a CNA and I went immediately into nursing in some form. So I am one of those long-termers. This was my only career. This is my only profession. And I understand that it's difficult because you identify as a nurse, but you are more than just a nurse. You are a mom, a husband, a wife, a sister. You are all kinds of things that I just want to say nursing does not define you. It doesn't. It doesn't. And before I left to pursue renursing EDU full time, I did have an issue with identity. I did think that, okay, am I a nurse? Am I not a nurse? What am I doing? Can I still tell people that I am a nurse practitioner, even though my clinical practice days are, I practice every once in a while, but I don't really practice clinically that much. I mean, and so I had all these thoughts in my head. And even if I didn't clinically practice, which I do sports physicals and things, but even if I didn't, I had to tell myself, I am still a nurse. I still have my license. I still have my degree. No one can take that away from me. But now I'm just using my nursing education and my degree in a different way. Just because I'm not at the bedside, just because I'm not in a clinical setting does not mean I'm not a nurse, but it also doesn't mean that I can't be an entrepreneur and have my own business and do my own thing and live the life that I want to live. So I just wanted to let people know that, because I know it's a huge identity shift. It is a mindset thing that is something you have to work. It's something you have to work on if you are thinking about leaving the bedside, leaving the clinic, leaving wherever you're at to go out and do something different. And that is, if that's a nursing business, if that's going back to school to go get a completely different degree, if that's just staying home for a little bit to take care of your kids, does not matter. I'm giving you permission to do something different. And it's okay. You're still a nurse. You still have your degree. You still have your license. If you want to go ahead and continue to pay for your license, so that way you feel like if something happens later on down the line, you can go back, do it, but give yourself permission to call yourself your new role, whatever that is. So if you're going out to venture into entrepreneurship, call yourself an entrepreneur, call yourself a business owner, call yourself whatever it is. Just make sure that you don't lose out on opportunities in life simply because you're hanging on to an identity and hanging on to a profession that you feel no longer serves you, but you feel like you have some kind of reason, some kind of hold to hold on to that. You don't. Just let it go. Let it go. And I'm here for you. If you want to leave me any comments or anything in regards to your identity as a nurse and moving on to something different, just drop them down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Once again, I'm Nachole Johnson of Renursing EDU. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Please comment, and I will see you on the next video.